Hello everyone, this is Eddie from aBlogtoWatch.com, and here I am today with Monsieur Philippe Dubois of Badollet. Tell me a bit more about the history.
Okay, Badollet is a very old brand that was, what we found the origin is in 1655. The company was active in the watch business since 1655 until 1924. 7 generations, father to son, without any interruption. In 1924, they shut down the factory in Geneva, and the name totally disappeared. Early 2000, somebody discovered in Geneva that her grandmother was running a watch factory in Geneva, and this watch factory was Badollet. And he decided to relaunch the brand in early 2000. Unfortunately, you must be aware, to relaunch a brand needs a lot of capital. This person who was part of the family didn't have the financial resource, so he found an investor. He was very lucky because the investor he found is somebody who, before investing in the watch business, was first a collector. So it's really a watch lover who decided to relaunch the brand. He was purchasing every year for his collection a number of watches, and some of them were very expensive. One day he saw the latest model from a big brand. He told them, the watch is absolutely beautiful, it's exactly what I'm looking for, but would it be possible? He didn't even finish his sentence. They told him, listen, sir, the watch is like this, you take it or you leave it. He said, okay, I'm going to leave it. And actually that was also one of his vision for brand, is to give the opportunity to consumer based on an existing model to make a kind of personalization. And today, any customer coming to see us saying, I love your watch, but we know exactly when the customer is saying, but we're going to make something together.
Can you give me an idea of your product portfolio?
First of all, we're not producing a lot of watches. The total annual production of Badollet is less than 50 watches a year. So it's basically a watch per week, even less. Top of this, we have several different movements, different cases, different material, different dial, which means that the 50 watches we're producing every year, every piece is a kind of unique piece. But if somebody looks at one of our pieces, he likes it, he wants to make a few changes to personalize his watch, we're going to issue a certificate saying that this piece, and we attach a picture with all the specification, saying that this is a one-of-a-kind piece. We're not going to reproduce it unless we have the authorization of the original owner. And why we're saying this, something could happen, the watch is stolen and he would like to have exactly the same. Or what happened recently, somebody saw the watch on the wrist of somebody. He said, your watch is absolutely gorgeous, I want to have the same. The owner sent us an order and told us, I want exactly the same watch I have today, it's for a gift.
One of the things about Badollet, the brand, is in terms of the complication, which is something that you always must have, is the tourbillon. Is that true?
Correct. Yes, since we relaunched the brand, we decided we wanted really to be a niche of the niche brand. As I said, the quantity is very limited. So we said the movement has to be also very exclusive. That means today, on every movement that we are offering to our customer, we have at least a tourbillon. Beside the tourbillon, we have added the chronograph one pusher. We have added the minute repeater. We came in 2012 with this new watch, which is called Ivresse. The Ivresse is really our latest watch with many special features. If you look at it from outside, the watch looks very simple. We asked the designer Eric Giraud to design a watch for us, and we asked him to make it as simple as possible. And if you look at the watch, we remove almost everything which was possible to remove. We kept 2 hands to read the time. We didn't even put on the dial the brand of the watch. So the watch looks very discreet. if you take off the watch and you look at the back, there is an opening that gives you the opportunity to watch at the movement. And the movement is manufactured here in la Vallée de Joux. It's something very special. The plate of the watch of this movement is not flat, it's curved like the case to fit perfectly on the wrist. It has, of course, a tourbillon. So if you look at the case
but
back,
the tourbillon is not visible. That's
the tourbillon is only visible when you remove. That means the owner of the watch knows what he's wearing,
yeah.
but he doesn't show off to everybody that he's wearing a tourbillon.
Can you tell me more about the design of the case, especially? I like the curve.
So the reason the case is curved is really to fit perfectly on your wrist. But that means when you have to fit inside the case a movement, you don't have so much space. Of course, we wanted to keep the tradition, to have a movement with a tourbillon. So we had the opportunity to meet a young watchmaker. His name is David Cando, and we told him, listen, this is a challenge. This is a space. We need you to design a movement that's going to be our own movement with a tourbillon. And he said, basically, it's not really a challenge, except that I have to put a tourbillon because this takes place. But the only way to do it, it's not to have a flat plate, but it has to be like the case, curved. So he designed the movement, and if you look at the movement, you can see that the barrel and the tourbillon are facing each other by 15 degrees. So in terms of mechanics in the movement, it makes it quite complicated, especially that the size of the movement itself is very small.
How has it been received in general?
So it's very interesting because you have two kind of customer who are spending over 200,000 Swiss francs for a watch, especially for a brand which is not known. You have people who are going after tourbillon because for them it's more show off. They want to show everybody that they have spent a lot of money for their watch. That's one thing of the customer. And then you have, I would say, a small part of the customer, they're buying the watch not for the show off. It's really for themselves. They know what they're wearing. They don't mind, or even they prefer if the brand is not known. Nobody will think that they have spent so much money to wear this watch. And they don't care. They buy it because they know what is inside the watch. They know the way the movement is done. They know that they are wearing a tourbillon, that if they want to see it, they just remove the watch to see it. But they don't show to everybody that they're wearing something very, very special.
Well, on the way up here to the mountains, you mentioned that you received a compliment from a rather famous watchmaker as well. Can you tell me more about that?
We're in la Vallée de Joux, but the place we are here is called Le Solia. And in Le Solia there is a famous watchmaker. His name is Philippe Dubois. And during the Basel fair, he came to our booth to see this watch because he heard about this new watch. He looked at in detail, especially at the movement, because that's his specialty. And he made what I think is really a compliment. He says in the future, there won't be only one address in the Solia, but there will be two different addresses. And I think that was really a very nice compliment to David Cando, who designed and did this movement for us.